Hey good people, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Jessica. I'm back for another video this week. Today I kind of want to reiterate and also add a few more things to a video that I did a few months back. I meet so many women who have been in similar situations, even to myself, that I felt that it was important to bring up this topic and have this conversation once again. It's important, even before you put yourself back on the market, to know exactly what it is that you want and to be sure about that, and to make sure that no matter who you meet, no matter how great the connection might seem or how good they might look, that you stick to what it is that you truly desire, what you truly want. So when you meet someone, whether it's a woman or a man, if they don't want a relationship, listen to them the first time when they say it. Because I tell you what will happen when you don't. You will spend countless months, countless years if you allow it, waiting on them to want you. It's like they have you on pause and you're waiting for them to push play. And you should never let no one have that type of power on you. I think at the end of the day that we forget that it's our lives too. You're going on dates and you're spending a lot of time together. Never feel bad about asking them, hey, what are we doing? How are you feeling about this? I feel like you should always be in communication with that person and always be making sure that you all are on the same page, because people can't read minds. So you can't assume that the situation is one thing without actually verbally talking about it. Now, nowadays, a lot of people just assume it's like, well, we've been spending a lot of time together, so I guess, we're in a relationship. But I think it's important to actually have that conversation. You might be interpreting the situation one way. The other person is interpreting this completely different than yourself. Ladies, it is so important not to let someone lead you on or drag you on, wasting your time. Don't get me wrong, it goes both ways, but I see it so much more with women. We are understanding, we're emotional. And don't get me wrong, a man knows, a man can read you, a man knows where your self-worth is, a man knows how you feel about yourself. A lot of times a man will meet you and he will imitate whatever it is that he feels like you've been yearning for, whatever it is that you've been desiring from other men that you haven't been getting. Us women, we have a tendency to get attached much quicker than men do. And when you're dating someone and you're not on the same page, you guys have two completely different ideas about what you're doing and where you're going. And you should know this is your life too. I think a lot of times what we forget, during the dating period, this is the time to collect data. When you collect data, you're able to determine, does this person have what I need? Does this person fit within my long-term lifestyle? Is this person gonna be a good role model for kids if I decide to have them? Is this somebody I can build a long, healthy, loving, lasting relationship with? Sometimes we don't even give ourselves the chance to find that out before we're so quick to want a relationship with someone. We don't even evaluate if they're even worth a relationship with us. Know your worth and never let anybody shortchange you. The biggest message I want to convey in this video of all, never let a person tell you that they don't want you more than once. Hear me when I say that. I heard that some years back and it really stuck with me, and I recently heard it again in a video and it really resonated with me. And I know a lot of you might be listening saying, well, of course, if somebody told me they didn't want to be with me, obviously I wouldn't try to force it. But when I say that, I don't mean that literally. Yes, it would be very easy if a person sat you down and said, hey, I don't want to be with you. It would be easier for you to walk away. I mean, it would be hard, you'd be heartbroken, but it'd be easier to walk away because they just blatantly told you they didn't want to be with you. I mean, where can you go from that? During that Steve Harvey segment that I was watching, I remember a girl saying she had been texting and hanging out with this guy for, I don't even remember, a few months. And he kept canceling on her. It was only the times where, after hours, he was actually able to make it. But if they ever made plans during the day, he always canceled, and he always canceled at the last minute without warning. And one of the last times he canceled, he told her, that they would hang out maybe the following weekend or something like that. And she texts back, well, hopefully you don't cancel on me next week, LOL. He immediately hit her back with like, hey, this is kind of a casual situation. We're just chilling. We're basically friends with a little bit on top. And she kind of LOL'd that and went on. But what he was basically saying was, he didn't feel the need to keep the date. He didn't feel the need to keep his word. To him, she was not worth keeping his word and keeping the date that he had originally set. He didn't feel like he owed her any common courtesy. He didn't feel like her time was as valuable as his. And those subtle things, we can't LOL. Her response should have sounded a lot like this. Exactly. It should have been silent. She should have not responded to him and she should have moved on. But a lot of times we don't do that when people clearly show us what the situation is, clearly show us or tell us that they don't want to be with us. And for some reason, we keep going back. We keep wanting to see something that's not there. We keep hoping and wishing that in time he will see who I am. If you've been showing a person who you are for 5, 6, 7, 8 months or even longer, how much longer do you think it's going to take? How much more of yourself do you think you have to show them for them to decide on whether or not they want to be with you? Never give that person that type of power over you. I hear a lot of ladies saying, well, I don't want to ask him any questions. I don't want to upset him. I guarantee you, the moment that you start being real with him, the moment that you let him know, hey, I'm putting my foot down. If we're not going to be in a committed relationship, you're unwilling to commit, then I have to move on. The moment that you say that, that's the moment of truth. If he really wants to be with you and he realizes, you know what, this is the woman that I want to change for, he do it. But more often than not, you get the real person that comes out. And that person lashes out in a hurtful way. Maybe saying things like, well, I never told you to wait in the beginning, or, you had a choice, or I never lied to you. I always kept it 100 with you. Always told you what it was, or I never led you on. That's when the real person comes out. And you think about it, all of those months that you spent coddling his feelings, not wanting to bother him, not wanting to ask too many questions. Yes, a lot of men love women who don't ask questions because it's easier to get over on them. If you ask questions, they have a shorter chance of being able to get over on you. They'll get tired of trying to pretend, or they'll get tired of trying to come up with answers. So they just leave you alone and stop wasting your time altogether. So you have to ask questions. During the dating process, ask as many questions as you possibly can. And that goes on both ends. Ask questions, collect data, find out if you and that person are on the same page, and never, ever, ever let someone tell you that they don't want you more than once. Don't let anyone waste too much of your time. And I'm not just speaking from, people that I've talked to. I'm speaking from my own experience. I've definitely had someone waste 8 months of my time. It wasn't fun, but I tell you what, it was a lifelong lesson. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about who I was. I learned a lot about what I wanted, what I was willing to accept, and what I wasn't. When I took some time away from dating and I completely focused on myself, I got to know me. I got to build up my self-esteem and build up my love for myself. And let me leave you with this. A person will only treat you how you treat you. You can't go into a situation without setting the right expectations from the very get-go. Start sleeping with a person, doing all of these other relationship-like things, and giving them all the benefits without any type of commitment. They don't really have an incentive to want to give you the commitment. It's so much easier for a man to come into your life and for a man to accept all of the benefits if you're not pushing for any type of commitment. If there's no standard set, there's nothing he has to do in order to gain those things. At the end of the day, you look at it, what are you getting out of the situation? If it's someone that you're sleeping with, in a lot of cases, you're not really getting much more than that. So what I'm saying is value yourself. Know that you are amazing. Know that you bring a lot to the table. And any man who doesn't recognize that, that's his loss. That's his issue and not yours. If you're being yourself, it doesn't take a person forever to figure out whether or not they want to build with you and they want a relationship with you. Don't give all the benefits of a relationship without actually having a relationship. That's all I have for this week. Hit me up in the comments and let me know what you think. And don't forget, before you leave, click that like button at the bottom of the screen. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. I don't know what you're waiting on. I know that there's other women that probably need to hear this. So please share the video. And until next time, you guys be blessed.